อาจารย์ออเริ่มหรือยัง
and Department of Biogas Energy Technology Research Center, Biogas Institute of Ministry of Agriculture, China. I would like to extend my warm welcome to all of you to join this joint symposiums, and I hope all of you explain your knowledge from these symposiums. Before we begin of this event, I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Napalapi Liangskun, Dean of School of Food Industry, KMITL Thailand, to be kindly delivering her welcome remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to her. The floor is yours.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and good morning to each one you present this morning. Can you hear me? Everybody can hear me?
Yes.
Because I use the mobile phone.
Yeah, yes, but we didn't see your photo, your pictures.
Huh? Really? Yeah, just a moment.
Huh? Okay. All right.
อ๋อเหรอเดี๋ยวนะแป๊บหนึ่งแป๊บหนึ่งอาจารย์ออถ้าพี่เปิดในไลน์อ่ะเปิดในไลน์เพื่อดูไอ้ที่อาจารย์เพิ่งส่งให้มันจะไม่เห็นหน้าจอพี่เหรอ
ตะกี้ไม่เห็นค่ะอาจารย์
อ๋อเหรอไม่เห็นเหรอ
ค่ะแต่นี้พี่ตอนนี้เห็นแล้วค่ะ
ไม่พี่ต้องมีไอ้ตัวไอ้ที่อาจารย์เพิ่งนั่นให้ไงเดี๋ยวแป๊บหนึ่งนะเอาไงดีเดี๋ยวแป๊บหนึ่งเดี๋ยวก่อนพี่ว่าพี่เรียกว่าอาจจะต้องไปใช้ตัวนั้นเนาะไม่เห็น
โอเค
ไม่เป็นไรไม่เป็นไรเนาะเพราะว่าไม่งั้นมันพูดนั่นไม่เดี๋ยว
ค่ะ Okay, this week little we had the interrupting of a little bit of electronic advice
เห็นไหมถ้าอย่างนี้เห็นไหม
ไม่เห็นค่ะอาจารย์
เอาเหรอแสดงว่าถ้ามันเปิดอันนี้มันไม่เห็นเนาะไม่เป็นไรเนาะอันนี้เดี๋ยวขออนุญาตบอกเขาว่าเดี๋ยวขออนุญาตปิดกล้องหน่อยหนึ่ง
ค่ะ
โอเคเดี๋ยวค่อยเปิดกล้องเนาะเนาะGood morning, everyone. It's my great pleasure to welcome you, to this symposium of the Waste and Biomass Valorization Joint Symposium. As the Dean of School of Food Industry, King Mongkut Institute of Technology, Kabang, I would like to convey my regards to Professor Dr. Min Chuang Hee, Deputy Director, Department of Biomass Energy Technology Research Center. Biogas Institute of Ministry of Agriculture or Biomass. China, our new collaborator together with his team to set up this event together with us. We are appreciated for our honorable speaker with 3 speakers from each side to present on the whole day activity today. Thank you so much for setting up this symposium together in order to get to know each or other and having a very strong research collaboration between our organization. We also wish to welcome you all to visit our school in the near future. I wish the symposium will enlighten us all for the trends in research and industrial applications on waste utilization. Thank you and enjoy the talk today.
Okay.
Okay. เริ่มเลย
Okay. Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Napalapi, for your welcome remarks. Next, I would like to invite Professor Min Seung Her, the Director of Biomass Energy Technology Center, Biogas Institute of Ministry of Agriculture, China, for his welcoming remarks. Please put your hand together for him. Professor, please. Hello. So we didn't hear you. A little bit interrupting, maybe. From the China side. You wait a little bit for our open remark. Maybe there are fixings for the some of the problems. Please wait a minute. So we had the problems about the internet over there. Please wait a little bit. So before we go into the open remark, I would like to remind you that today we have a lot of speakers that's waiting to sharing the knowledge with you on the waste and biomass vaporizations. So we had the three speakers from Thailand, from the School of Food Industry, came ITL here. She's the lecturer from the different departments, from the food processing engineering and from the food science and for the fermentation technology to share our knowledge. And we have another of the three speakers from the Department of Biomass, Energy Technology Research Center, two from the China. So we had the three of them to sharing the knowledge with us today. And in our event, we have all day long for today, and the joint conference will be finished around 3 p.m. Today, and everyone don't forget that when we finish the joint conference, we had the QR code show up for you, can be scanned for e-certificates. So stay with us until the end of the joint conference. Okay, welcome back. we already see you. Okay, we already hear you. So, are you ready for open remark, Professor?
Okay.
Okay.
The network is not well. Okay.
Okay.
Good morning. I'm very sorry. The network is not well. Dear Dean, Nepet Rapi, Lu Ang Sakur, Dr. Professor Patapong, ladies and gentlemen, my name is He Minxiong from Biogas Institute of Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs. I am honored to co-organize this waste and biomass joint symposium. It's not easy to organize this international academic meeting under such pandemics, which mean we don't to deepen active discussion face to face. Nevertheless, it is especially precious because it demonstrated that both sides have realized our shared responsibility for the sustainable development of our homeland. Currently, our group have been focusing on the conversion of agricultural biomass into biofuels and bioenergies and other bioproducts for more than a decade. In the following time, with our peers from Thailand, my colleague and I will introduce our recent research advance or achievements on the production of value-added products from waste biomass resource. I hope this research will inspire every one of us, regardless of what education or research backgrounds we have. Through this symposium, I hope to strengthen bilateral collaboration in the future. Let's enjoy our academic hours. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your welcome remark. Now let's we move to the next line of which I believe that the moment that everyone is waiting for. It is now my pleasure to introduce Professor Hurricanes for his first speaker for this joint symposium. Professor Her is a professor and PhD student supervisor and director of Biomass Energy Technology Centers, Biomass Institute of Ministry of Agricultural China. He received his PhD degree in biochemistry and molecular biology at Session University. His research focused on microbial metabolic engineering, biomass and energies, environmental microbiome engineering, environmental science and technology, reuse technologies. Moreover, his research output creates more than 10 national inventions patents and over 90 academic papers with the total citations over 1,000 times. Please join me to welcome Professor Her again. Professor, do you ready for the first speaker for this topic for today?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, the floor is yours, please.
I'm very happy to attending this symposium. In 2020, we also invite Professor Tatapong to our lab, and we also discuss some our research about bioenergy and between Thailand and China. After 2 years, we have this chance to discuss, to further discuss our research about biomass and waste biomass utilization. Okay, today my topic is China bioethanol industry and carbon neutralization. As we all know, carbon neutralization is a very hot topic in recent years. Today, we will combine China in that bioethanol industry and carbon neutralization to enjoy the whole China bioethanol industry. Okay, today we will introduce from background bioethanol production from waste biomass, and we will also discuss further perspective. As we all know, in China, the pattern of primary energy consumption dominated by coal has not fundamentally changed in China. We can see from this figure, our primary energy consumption dominates by coal. And actually in 2018, China's total crude oil importance exceeded 440 million tons for the first time. In this year, China's apparent consumption reached 648 million tons, an increase of 9.95% over 2017, and its ethanol dependence was close to 70%. We are facing many serious energy insecurity. China's consumption is projected to rise from 595 million metric tons in 2017. It will reach the 1,149 million tons in 2040, and maybe reach the 1,320 million tons in 2050. On the other hand, China's total importance of natural gas in 2008 is 125.4 billion cubic meter.
好像说 PPT 还是没有动，
没动呢。In 2018, China becomes the world's largest natural gas importer, and its eternal dependence will rise to 45.3%.
你刚才是
共享，
已经共享了吗？
Professors, excuse me, could you start your PowerPoint again? It looks like it's not moving.
对，大家都是这样子的。
他们有看到吗？
对，所有人都是这样。
那续场呢
Yes, could
Wait a
you?
minute. Wait a minute.
Wait for a moment.
Okay.
这个往往是
共享屏幕还是共享 PPT？ 是共享，只有一个共享 PPT。我看一下，是共享的 PPT 吗？没问题啊。你应该先退出一个，是吧？先停止共享。
I think it's already moved.
如果我们不用演讲者模式呢 ？Now is it okay? Now?
Yes, it's already okay. Please continue.
Sorry, the temporary internet work doesn't work. Sorry. 现在呢，我们如果结束
就这样，继续
啊。Okay.
Okay. We have introduced some our energy situation about crude oil consumption and the natural gas consumption. Actually, in China, we are facing serious energy insecurity. Our crude oil and natural gas external dependency will the value is very high. For crude oil, it's reached 70%, and for natural gas, the value is reached 45.3%. 这个好像跟那个显示不一样。这个屏幕。
就是那个 PPT 好像打开了2页，对，要把另外一个关了。
我弄一下。
那你过去弄。技术是在发现。
那个。
再听看一下，对。
So based on the fact on September 22, 2020, President Xi Jinping delivered an important speech at the General Debate of 1750 UN General Assembly, announcing China will scale up its internationality determining contribution by adopting more vigorous policy and measures. We aim to have carbon dioxide emission peak before 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality before 2060. Actually, currently, the global carbon emission mainly come from industry, agriculture, and waste biomass, resource, and fuel, and other industry. In China, China's carbon dioxide emission reached 11.6 billion tons per year, and come from electricity, heat, and transport, and chemistry industry. For agriculture is another main carbon dioxide emission. For global carbon emission, agriculture is accounts for 11.8%. So under this condition, develop bioethanol will help us to solve these problems, and will help us to decrease the carbon dioxide emission. Next, we will introduce bioethanol production from biomass resource. This topic is very 比较熟悉的单词吗？
手面点啊，比手面点为什么？比手机点为手面点啊，手面点啊。
As we all know, based on ethanol production and form the carbon dioxide cycle, as we all know, plant can convert solar energy into chemical energy and store this energy into plant cell wall as chemical energy. After destroy plant cell wall and release sugar, and then fermented by microorganisms, we can get ethanol and use to replace fossil fuel, and at the same time release carbon dioxide. So, and based on ethanol production, can form carbon dioxide cycle. Currently, there are two different models for ethanol production. The first generation of our ethanol production is mainly based on sugarcane in Brazil, and produce and use corn for ethanol production in United States and China. And the second model is cellulosic ethanol production from agricultural waste. And in recent years, many research groups also focusing on third generation bioethanol production from algae biomass to produce bioethanol. And there are three different technology for bioethanol production. For first generation ethanol production, we can vet or dry milling technology to destroy the structure of starch, and then by hydrolysis by glucosinase to release sugar, and then fermentation, distillation to get final fuel ethanol. At the same time, we can use the anaerobic digester to treat wastewater and waste residues. For sugar crops, we also can extract sugar joys, and then directly fermentation by yeast or the Monomonas mobilis, and then by distillation to get fuel ethanol. At the same time, we can use anaerobic digest to treat waste water and waste residues. For cellulosic ethanol production, there are three different technologies for cellulosic ethanol production. The first one we call is SHCF model. In this model, after pretreatment and added cellulose, and then hydrolysis, and then fermentation, it is a one-by-one process, and then distillation gets the final product. In the second technology, we call it SSCF model. In this model, after pre-treatment, we add cellulase and then hydrolysis. At the same time, we also added our ethanol producer, and then fermentation, distillation, and gets the final product. The third technology is we call it CBP technology. In this technology, cellulase production, hydrolysis, fermentation combine this process into a single bioreactor, and then distillation gets the final pure ethanol. However, this technology is the ethanol yield is very low, and this is very difficult to fund this stream to finish these three different tasks: cellulose production, hydrolysis, and fermentation. It's very difficult to fund this microorganism. In United States, many use the corn as feedstock to produce ethanol, and as we can analyze the balance, mass balance from corn to ethanol, we can see this reaction from starch to ethanol. Based on this reaction, we can calculate it. Produced 1 ton ethanol need X ton material. X is plus 1.76 plus starch content. For example, starch content corn is 60%. It means 1 ton corn contains 600 kilogram starch. After hydrolysis, we can get 60.6 kilogram glucose based on this number. After fermentation, we can get 340.74 kilogram ethanol. It means we can use 3 ton corn produce 1 ton ethanol. In Brazil, sugarcane mainly used as a main feedstock for ethanol production. This is very mature technology. After juice extraction, yeast fermentation, distillation, and molecular service to get the final product. At the same time, the solid residues can be used as animal fodder, and also can directly use for boilers to provide heat, steam, and electricity generation. Another alternative technology, we can use this solid waste or liquid for anaerobic digest to produce biogas. Okay, this is the main different model in United States and Brazil. For the global ethanol industry, United States, Brazil, European Union, China, India, Canada, Thailand, Argentina, and other countries have shared the global ethanol market. And United States is the biggest ethanol producer in the world. The total ethanol yield is account for 54%. And the second ethanol producer in Brazil is the total ethanol yield is account for 30%. And China is only 4 to 5% of the whole global ethanol yield. And we can also clearly see the currently the main their main feedstock is also food resource. Grain use grain as a feedstock, and the second feedstock is sugarcane. For United States, currently there are maybe 400 ethanol plants in ethanol. This is this figure shows the distribution of fuel ethanol plants in United States, and currently historical output of fuel ethanol industry in United States, as shown in this figure, and currently in 2019 the yield is reached more than 47 million tons per year. For Brazil, currently there are 434 ethanol plants in Brazil, and this figure shows the distribution of fuel ethanol plants in Brazil. It is far off Amazon River, and this figure shows the historical output of fuel ethanol industry in Brazil from 1998 to 2019. Currently, the ethanol yield is reached 26 million tons per year in Brazil. In China, since 2004, Chinese government also make a rule to support bioethanol industry, and the main policy, I think, is the Chinese government provide subsidy to support ethanol industry. In 2004, Chinese government provide nearly 2,736 yuan per ton, and in the next 5 years the subsidy decreased, and in 2009 the subsidy is set off 2,055 yuan per ton, and then in 2050, China government canceled the subsidy for grain-based ethanol industry, and for encouraging non-grain ethanol industry, Chinese government set the subsidy is 750 yuan per ton for non-grain ethanol industry, and also set subsidy for cellulosic ethanol in China is 800 yuan per ton. This figure shows the historical output of China's fuel ethanol industry since 2002 2019, and currently our ethanol yield is reached 2.73 million tons per year. It's only 5.7% of ethanol yield of America, and only 10% of Brazil. And our ethanol industry, since from 2004, in this year we only have 4 ethanol plants. This is Heilongjiang Huarun Group, Jilin Ethanol Group, and the Henan Tianguan Group and Anhui Fengyan Group, only 4 ethanol plants. And in 2030 to 2040, we also construct another 8 non-grain ethanol plants use cast also
This is already this drop again. It's not moving. So maybe we have the internet issues for today. Please, participants, wait a little bit for the continues of the bioethanol industry. Yesterday we already practiced for the Zoom meeting, but it's smooth. Maybe today had the internet problems. We will waiting for they come back soon. So doing the fixing for the presentations. So I would like to remind you again that please stay until the end of the joint symposium. We have QR code for e-certificates that you can, after you scanning, you can fill your names and your institutes or your affinity, and the e-certificate will be directly sent to your email. So you have to registrations to our system first, so we can matching between your names in registration system and e-certificate. So doing we waiting all of them. So today we have a lot of material for using for biomass energies. Like today is bioethanol industry, and we also have another material like fiber composite for potential to be food applied in food packaging from the second of our speakers. And we also had the biomass applications or biochar. Maybe anyone is not don't know a lot about that. So the third speaker will be shared with us. Moreover, we had another one from our faculty to be speaking about the utilizations of the feed processing waste. And they are back already. Okay, so it's already work. We already see the moving of the PowerPoints. Okay. Right, but we didn't heard.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Great.
Okay.
Okay.
Because okay, there's a problem. The Zoom in China doesn't work well, so sometimes we can have this interruption, the problem. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. No problems. No problems.
Okay. Currently in China, the total ethanol licensed product is reached 4 million tons per year. The total is 4 million tons per year. However, when compared to United States technology, China dry milling bioethanol technology is the ethanol production. The efficiency of ethanol production is lower than United States technology. So, on the other hand, currently, based on the fact of technology limitation in China, we are also facing some challenges, and the price of bioethanol is sensitive to food price. And for the further encourage ethanol industry in China, and Chinese government, the 15th Department of the National Development and Reform Commission, the State Energy Administration and the Ministry of Finance jointly issued implementation plan for expanding the production and the promotion of bioethanol fuel, ethanol gasoline. By 2020, China will basically achieve full coverage of vehicle ethanol gasoline. By 2025, strive for large-scale production of cellulosic ethanol. Advance liquid fuel technology equipment in the industry as a whole to the international advanced level to form a more perfect market operation mechanism. However, I think we can't finish this goal. For other countries and areas also have made great successful in ethanol industry. For example, this figure shows the historical output of Euro Union. This is India. India is the ethanol yield reached 530 million gallons per year, and this data is in Thailand. In 2019, the ethanol yield is reached 420 million gallons per year. I think development of bioethanol industry will help us to solve carbon emission reduction. From the data of EPA, renewable fuels is contributed to 20% GHG reduction, and advanced such as biodiesel fuel is 50% GHG reduction, and the cellulosic fuel may be reached 60% for GHG reduction. And another report from Oregon National Laboratory of the U.S. Department of Energy, the carbon intensity of corn fuel ethanol decreased by 23% from 2005 to 2019 due to the adoption of new technology and improved efficiency by farmers and ethanol producers. By 2019, compared with gasoline, the greenhouse gas emission of corn-based fuel ethanol in the whole life cycle will be 44 to 52% lower than gasoline. Between 2008 and 2020, the use of biofuel will reduce a total of 908 million tons of greenhouse gas emission. And on August 8, 2018, the U.S. Department of Agriculture also released the relevant report, Greenhouse Gas Benefit of Corn Ethanol, Evaluation of the Latest Evidence. Based on the data of the use of biofuel ethanol in the United States for many years, the report analyzed the impact of the use of biofuel ethanol in the United States on greenhouse gas emission from multiple dimensions, such as land use change, farm operation, and fuel production, such as land. The conclusion is that the greenhouse gas emission of corn-based fuel ethanol in the whole life cycle of the United States are 39% lower than gasoline. The greenhouse gas emission of fuel ethanol from fuel ethanol plants powered by natural gas are 43% lower than that of gasoline with equal caloric value. This is some report from United States. However, for China's ethanol industry, it is absence of this report for carbon for GHG reduction for ethanol industry. So in the future, we also focusing on the whole ethanol industry in China contribute to GHG reduction in the future. Another fact in China is there are many abundant agricultural store resources in China. Currently, the theoretical ethanol yield of straw is reached 900 million tons per year, and the collective straw resource reached 800 million tons per year. And the suitable utilization way and the suitable trade way and or incineration to bring out serious environmental problem, and Chinese government also used satellite remote sensing to monitor straw burning in China. So straw utilization is a very important issue in China. It's related to agriculture, sustainable development, and modern agriculture, and energy and ecological environment problems. And the Chinese government strictly banning straw incineration in recent years. And as we all know, lignocellulosic biomass contain cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. And the main unit is also a simple sugar, such as glucose, xylose, and ribose. So under this condition, use this agricultural resource to produce bioethanol and or other bioproducts is of great significance for elevating agriculture environment pollution and elevating energy crisis. And currently, there are many straw utilization pathways, such as physical conversion to produce biomass liquid fuel, and then use the biomass liquid fuel to produce heat, electricity. And we can also use chemical conversion to produce bio-oil, charcoal, syngas, and to produce heat, fuel, and electricity. And another biochemical conversion technology is anaerobic digestion to produce biogas, and then use biogas to produce heat, fuel, and electricity. And another biochemical conversion technology, we can produce many multiple bioproducts, such as bioethanol, biobutanol, biochemical, such as lactic acid, and other biochemicals. For China, there are many straw utilization pathways. There are 30 technology for straw utilization in China. This figure is Chinese, and currently there are 5 different models. The first one is fertilizer, and the second one is animal fodder, and the third one is as fuel, and use the as material, and 这个怎么翻译？我还真不知道，这样吗？这怎么翻译？我想不起来了。主要话是 base as the medium for mushroom medium for mushroom.
Cultivar substrate.
Substrate.
Cultivar, there are cultivars.
However, there are only 8 biotechnology used for straw utilization in China, and the 3 technologies used for biofertilizer production, and only 1 for animal fodder. It's silage fermentation to produce animal fodder, and there are two different technologies used for biogas production and cellulosic ethanol production. And in the future, Chinese government also encouraged to produce lactic acid, and then produced polylactic acid, and to replace plastic, replace plastic. From the technology, cellulosic ethanol production technology contain harvest, storage, transport biomass to ethanol plants, and then pretreat, hydrolysis, fermentation, and distillation. This is the general process of cellulosic ethanol production. However, during pretreatment, it can produce some inhibitor. If we remove of this inhibitor, will add the cost increased. On the other hand, ethanol will also inhibit the microorganism. It will lead to lower ethanol yield. So in the future, conduct a stress tolerant stream to increase the ethanol yield and decrease the whole cost and improve the ethanol yield is necessary in the future for cellulosic ethanol production. We also need to conduct economical pretreatment technology. Currently, there are many pretreatment technology have developed in recent years, such as physical pretreatment, chemical pretreatment, and chemical pretreatment, and biological pretreatment. They make cellulose more accessibility to enzymatical hydrolysis and cellulose hemicellulose sugars. For example, currently dilute acid or alkali under high temperature. However, this technology will produce some inhibitors, and steam explosion technology under high temperature, more than 108 centigrade degree, and high pressure, and ammonia fiber expulsion. And the biological pretreatment is also have the development used some fungi or bacteria to destroy the cell wall. After pretreatment, we need hydrolysis cellulose, hemicellulose to release sugar, and currently many commercial companies have development commercial cellulose such as Gelencore and Novozymes. And after hydrolysis, we also need stress tolerant stream for ethanol fermentation. Currently, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, Limomonas mobilis, Echinosa coli, Coebus oxytoca, these 4 engineered strain commonly used for cellulosic ethanol fermentation. For example, this engineered ethylene coli by introducing K gene from PDC and the ADH gene from Zymomonas mobilis into ethylene coli, and then by knocking out some byproduct related genes to make engineered ethylene coli to produce ethanol from glucose and xylose. And the second strain is Zymomonas mobilis. I know Professor Patapon also focusing on this strain for many years, and our group also focusing on this strain to introduce 5-carbon sugar utilization pathway into Zymomonas mobilis and to make this engineered strain to produce ethanol from glucose, xylose, and other 5-carbon sugar into ethanol. And for cyclomethylserine, by introduce 5-carbon sugar utilization pathway and make engineered strain to produce ethanol. After fermentation and then by distillation, this is distillation tau. This is a very mature technology for biochemical industry. And there are 3 different technologies for cellulosic ethanol production. Currently, SSCF is the main technology for cellulosic ethanol fermentation. Based on the mass balance analysis, we can see from cellulosic biomass to ethanol, we need only 3-ton corn straw to produce 1 ton ethanol. You can see 1 ton corn straw contains 45% cellulose and 25 hemicellulose and 20% lignin. After pretreatment, it contains 45% glucan and 25% xylene. After hydrolysis, we can get 450 kilogram glucose and 250 kilogram xylose, and then after fermentation, we can get 345 kilogram ethanol. It means produce 1 ton ethanol only need 3 ton corn stover. However, because the efficiency is lower than theoretical yield during the pretreatment, hydrolysis, and fermentation, maybe the produced 1 ton ethanol maybe need 8 ton corn stover. However, with the technology improvements, currently we need only 5 to 6 ton corn stover to produce 1 ton ethanol. In the future, we also consider other effects affect the whole cost of cellulosic ethanol industry, such as biomass planting and biomass harvesting and collection, biomass storage, and biomass transportation to bioethanol plants. And we also consider feedstock receiving and pretreatment, hydrolysis, fermentation, and ethanol recovery and waste treatment. I think we also consider all these facts and to make the whole process is more economical and to compete with traditional fossil fuel. And in the future, we are for cellulosic ethanol industry are facing some challenges. The first one is biomass feedstock, how to collection, storage, transport, and we also need to conduct clean and economical pretreatment technology. And during hydrolysis, we also need increased specific activity, increased salmon tolerance, reduce production inhibition, and broaden substrate range of cellulase. And during fermentation, we also need to convert all sugar to ethanol using microorganism and eliminate solid liquid separate step and increase process tolerant and resistant to inhibitors. Importantly, conduct a CBP process may be another choice for us in the future. Okay, cellulosic ethanol production is a typical case for cellulosic biomass utilization. As lignocellulosic biomass is abundant and renewable, it means in the future we can use this abundant lignocellulosic biomass to produce many biofuel, and other bioproducts after destroying the cell wall culture and release sugar. Many microorganisms can convert this sugar into different bioproducts. I think based on the biorefinery model, in the future, we can produce food for human and feed for animal and biofuel for our car and jet and biochemical and biomaterial to replace the petrol-based chemical and material and make our world more cleaner and more environment friendly and creation employment enjoyment and to improve our living standard in the future. Okay, that's all. Thank you. I hope in the future we can conduct a Sino-Thai biomass energy joint laboratory to discuss or to collaboration between our lab and the Thai level in the future, focusing on biomass resource. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor, for sharing the information with us about the bioethanol industry in China. There are two questions from the audience, from the participants, to asking you. The first one, they're asking that, does lignocellulose material for the productions is cost effective in China with the technology uses? Are they asking about the okay. Okay, could you explain about the cost effective of the lignocellulose material in China?
Actually, in China, many
so we think that we had the internet interruptions again in China. Maybe Zoom system is not quite working well over there. So for the questions, maybe we leave the professor. Professor is still stay with us, so maybe in afternoon section that he will come back to answer the questions, because we have to keep up on time. We still have two speakers waiting for us. So before of come back of the Chinas, so let me in the morning sections we have a little bit change. So the speaker from School of Food Industry Thailand will be represent the two of them. So we are waiting a little bit from Chinese. I think they're gonna be fixing the internet stuff. So we not waiting of time now. We are moving to the second speaker. Is this okay? I hope so. So the second speaker is the Associate Professor Dr. Thanaporn Tothanakasem. She is currently at the Associate Dean in the Research Industry School of Food Industry at KMITL. She received her PhD degree in Food Biotechnologies from Assumption University Joint Program with University of California, Davis, USA. Her research interesting focus on the productions of bio-based material from agricultural waste, molecular biologies, microbial physiologies, and food safety. She published the more than 20 papers in international journals in Scopus and SCI Index. So please welcome her to present on the second speaker. So the floor is yours. Okay, we see your slides already, but it's not full screen. Could you wait a minute, please?
Okay, hold on. Let me เดี๋ยวกันไม่เมื่อกี้ไมค์มันไม่เปิดแล้วพี่หาปุ่มไม่ได้ด้านหลังโอเค thank you okay so I'm back here
could you please move all your slides presentations before lunch, and maybe we will change another meeting room because Zoom is not working well in China.
Okay, so do you see my screen now?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so thank you for the introduction, right? As Professor He mentioned that in the past, and actually right now I also work on lignocellulosic material for the conversion to be the bioenergy. But somehow after I moved to the School of Food Industry at KMITL, I try to integrate my research to be something related to the food packaging, but still using the lignocellulosic material as a resource for the conversion to the biomaterial or biopackaging. So as we know that the plastic waste is a kind of effect, create many impact to the environment. And plastic waste in Thailand, as I search for the information, is quite interesting. We are number 6 biggest contributor of ocean waste from the plastic. And about 500 million plastic bags are used per day by Thai people. 8 plastic bags per day used by per person. About 2.7 million tons of total plastic was produced each year in Thailand. This was evaluated in the year 2018. And we import about 571,000 tons of plastic to produce the plastic bags in the year 2018. And about 50,000 tons or 700 million plastic items were thrown away in the sea in the coastal area that they monitor in the year 2018. So mostly the food packaging industry has used a lot of plastic. They have a lot of demand to use the plastic from the packaging industry. And about 2/3 of all material plastic turn to be food package. And as you know, the food package, it cannot be recycled, right? We only single use of it and throw it away. So food industry or food package produce a lot of waste to the ocean, to the land, or even to the air when you burn this kind of packaging, when you throw it away. So plastic will contribute to the greenhouse gas, and it is about 850 million tons of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere in the year 2019 when they monitor. So mostly it comes from the food packaging. So that's why I try to do more research to turn lignocellulosic material to be any kind of the biomaterial, especially to use for the food package. So as you know, the non-biodegradable plastic are one of the most serious problems in our world, right? And it produces a lot of toxic pollution in the planet because it's designed to use for the single use. As you know from this figure, if you look for the organic matter, it's very easy to be degraded, like into 2.5 weeks. And then when we go to the tin or the can, and then to the bottle, the plastic bottle, the time to be able to completely degrade, it might be more than 400 years. And once it's not completely degraded, it produces a lot of microplastic that affect our coastal area. 1/3 of all discarded plastic end up in soil or in fresh water. So how can we make this food packaging at it has a high demand, right? As I mentioned, 2/3 of the packaging supply that has been used for the food packaging. Can we make it for more green and sustainable? Because we have to look for our children, for our world in the future, right? So recently, various agricultural fiber has been used to mix with the PLA, polylactic acid, because polylactic acid cost is not cheap, and also to improve the mechanical property of the biomaterial. They mentioned that agricultural fiber could be the good source for the mixing, for the combination, in order to improve the strength of the material itself, and it could be biodegradable. In the past, people have done by using the bamboo fiber, live husk, sugarcane bagasse, cotton waste with straw and palm oil fiber to mix with the PLA. So as you know, with the PLA, so many research has been done to use the PLA, and some country or some industry, they have already made the plastic bottle, the PLA as a material for the biodegradable bottle already, because PLA is thermophilic. It is biodegradable, and it can be degraded in a short time. It has a high versatility. It can produce from renewable resources. It can be made by the bacteria. It can be renewable and reproduced by the microbes. It is non-toxic. So why do I focus on the pineapple waste? In Thailand, we are one of the world's 3rd largest pineapple producer. And about 75 pineapple process factories in our country. It generates about 200 tons of agricultural waste per day. That is quite a lot, but we still have some limitation for the waste utilization. So as we have big plants for the pineapple factories, the pineapple leaf has been waste a lot in the farmer area. Normally, when we produce pineapple, the fruit can be grown for 2 or 3 generations, and the leaf will be left over in the farm area. So most of them, they will just burn it up. They just bury in the ground. How about we can turn this to be more value added and get the revenue from the waste itself? Actually, people also use it for the textile industry. Some also use it as a biomaterial container. But how about if we can blend this pineapple leaf fiber with the PLA to make it to be more durable, to make it to be able to use for a long time, it would be turned to be more revenue. Okay, so why do I focus to the pineapple leaf fiber over the other agricultural fiber? It is the ideal source for the nanofiber. It has high strength, high stiffness, and high cellulose content. With its low density, it can increase the tensile property. It can increase the strength of the material. And pineapple leaf fiber, I will have the abbreviation for PALF, pineapple leaf fiber. It's a group of the natural fiber made of the cellulose of about 80%, hemicellulose 12%, and the lignin 3%. And it has been used a lot for the textile paper industry, natural polymeric, but it has not used much to blend with the PLA or the polylactic acid as a biopackaging. So also with the idea of the biomaterial, I also work in the microbiology area. So I think about how about we make the material to be novel, to coat with the antimicrobial compounds. So in the past, people have done to make the novel food packaging by integrating the bioactive compound or antimicrobial compound to replace those chemical compounds in order to extend the shelf life of the product, especially with the product like the fresh cut vegetable that you have to bring to the consumer in the container, right? In order to prevent the growth of the available microbe, we might think about using the package that coated with the antimicrobial compound. Or how about the package that used with the post-sterilization products, or the package that need to use with the meat or many fresh product, right? So with many review, people have done to make the package integrate with the antimicrobial compounds. For example, in the A type 1 packaging product, they just coat the material on top with the antimicrobial compounds, right? And when the food has a direct contact to this package, it will prevent the microbial growth in the food material. Okay, the B type 1 is the one with the pad. So they make the pad that coat with the antimicrobial compound, and this pad will be placed underneath the food packaging in order to prevent the microbial growth and to extend or prolong the shelf life of the product. And the C type 1, they make the antimicrobial compound in the pack, and then they in the pack or in the how to call it, like in the package, right? And then they make this microbial compound to be able to penetrate to kill the microbe that might be available in the food products. And the D type 1 is the one that integrates the bioactive compound into the biomaterial. So they have applied food packaging to enhance the shelf life for providing the healthy food and make the product to be more healthy. To prevent the food loss from the bacteria and fungi. So they found that during we transfer the food product from the industry to the consumer, so somehow in some developed country, 40% of the food loss happen because of the spoilage or the contamination that might happen in the food products. And we can reduce the plastic pollution if we use the biodegradable plastic integrate with the antimicrobial compounds. So what they use in the past with all these antimicrobial compounds, they can use with the synthetic antimicrobial compounds. They can use with the natural extract like essential oil or herbal extract. They can use with the compounds, antimicrobial compound extract from the bacteria, fungi, for example, niacin, pediosin, bacteriocin. These are from lactic acid bacteria. And sometimes they mix it with the enzyme like the lysozyme to damage the cell membrane of the pathogenic or the spoilage microbe. Or peroxidase that interrupting the metabolic activity of the spoilage or the pathogenic microbe. And some of them integrate with the chitosan. compounds. So our research aim is to develop the PLA composite pineapple leaf fiber. So we want to combine pineapple leaf fiber with the 10% to replace the PLA amount, and then coat it with the antimicrobial compound that we gain from the supernatant of the Pediococcus pentosaceus. So we isolate the Pediococcus pentosaceus from the fermented chicken, and we use that supernatant. We neutralize supernatant first and use that to coat with the material as an innovative biodegradable composite for further food packaging. Then we have to test whether this material that we create has effective in terms of the mechanical strength, in terms of the antimicrobial properties against foodborne pathogens like Bacillus cereus, Salmonella, Typhimurium, and E. coli that we test. Okay, so how can we get the pineapple leaf fiber? We get the fiber from the after it give like 2 or 3 generations of fruits from the farmer area, and then we dry it up and chop it into the small pieces, and then we boil in the water. After we boil in the water, we boil further in sodium hydroxide and do the bleaching. So we do the pulping and bleaching step to make it white, to turn to be more white. And then finally, we get the fiber of the pineapple. So after we get the fiber of the pineapple, we take it to the machine to make it to be the powder in order to make it small enough to put into the twin screw extruder. So this twin screw extruder, we use the machine with the MTech in Thailand. So they are good in making the nanomaterial or material science. So inside the twin screw extruder, we mix the polylactic acid pellet with the powder of the PALF. And once it gets from the twin screw extruder, we get like the pellet of the mixture of the PLA and PLAF. After that, we melt it and make it into the sheet by using the compression motor to make it into the thickness of about 0.5 millimeter. After that, we cut it into the small pieces in order to test whether the material, after it coated with the supernatant that contain niacin from the Pediococcus, whether it can inhibit the growth of our taste foodborne pathogen. Okay, so how to coat it? So we take this slide, we cut it into the about one multiplied with one of the diameter of the coupon, and then we place into the electrospraying machine, and then we spray with the needle. This use the high electricity and high voltage, and we spray it into the nanoparticle with the supernatant that we gain from the Pediococcus that contain about 1.3% of niacin. This solution is already neutralized, so we want to make sure that the effect on the pathogen doesn't caused by the acid produced by lactic acid bacteria, but it would be caused by the niacin itself. So we coat our material with the we coat our material with the niacin. So this is how the macroscopic picture of the material that we made look like. So this is made by the 10% of the PALF. We also mix with the cornstarch to make it to be more versatile, and the PLA. Okay, so when we look for the mechanical properties of the material that we made based on the tensile strength, young modulus, strain and bake, and melting temperature, comparing with the one that contain no PALF or the pineapple leaf fiber. So what we found here is that even though the strength, the tensile strength cannot be compatible with the needed PLA, this might be caused by when you mix the fiber with the PLA, it might create some void or some polarity inside. So that's why the tensile strength is getting reduced. Somehow this can be improved in the future by doing the better pre-treatment to the pliable leaf fiber to minimize the void or the porosity of the material. However, when we look for the young modulus and the stain at bed, it's getting reduced in the stain at bed. So it will be more like the strength getting better, or the stiffness of the material of the PLA containing PALF is better than just the PLA itself. Okay, the melting temperature is getting a little bit or slightly higher when we mix with the pliable leaf fiber. Okay, so basically the property is getting better than the PLA. Besides, except the tensile strength that we have to improve the treatment process in order to blend well with the PLA. Okay, after we make the coupon coated by the antimicrobial compound from the pediococcus containing 1.3% niacin that already neutralized, we put the coupon in the media that we inoculate the 3 foodborne pathogen, that is Bacillus cereus, E. coli, and Salmonella typhimurium in there. And we want to see whether our coupon that containing niacin has an effect on the microbial growth by looking at the OD, the optical density, and the CFU. So when compared with the uncoated sample of the material and coated sample at 0 ounce, 12 ounce, and 24 ounce, you see that there's a reduction in the number of the bacteria based on the OD valuation and the CFU per ml. This is from Bacillus cereus, sorry. Okay, and how about Salmonella typhimurium? Also, it shows the same thing. From 12 hours onward, you see the reduction in the number of the bacteria based on the OD and the CFU. So somehow the compounds in the biomaterial that we make could be able to diffuse to inhibit the growth of the bacteria in the solution. Okay, it also represents the same result and pretty much significantly affect to the E. coli cell. So from 12 hours onward, it kind of reduced in the bacterial growth based on the OD and CFU observation. So after we test this, we select gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria foodborne pathogen to test. So this compound from the biomaterial that we make can inhibit both gram-positive and gram-negative foodborne pathogen that we test. And from the test after 24 hours, we take the coupon out from the flask, and then we dry it up in the freeze dry and look for how bacteria attach to the material under the scan electron microscope with the 4000 magnification. We also test with the three indicated foodborne pathogen. This is from Bacillus cereus when you test with the control. The control and uncoated and coated control, we don't add any microbe in there. The uncoated, the material PLA, PALF without the active compound. This is a coated with the active compound. So you see the number of cells is getting reduced on the material itself. So it doesn't much attach to the material. And also with the Salmonella typhimurium, again, with the uncoated, you see a lot of number of cells attaching here. And with the coated, you see some small amount of cells. So this, you see all the rash area here, they are the material, the fiber itself. These are the bacteria. With the E. coli, right, you see the same thing. The uncoated, you still see some amount of cell on the surface of the material. But when you coat with the niacin containing from the supernatant or pediococcus, I just see only one cell right here. So it kind of having dramatic effect on the number of the bacterial attachment to the biomaterial that coat with the active compound. So from the summary of our work, as I said, it still be the peer review. right? The PLA, PLF composite exhibit or enhance the melting temperature and reduce the strain at break. So it's shown to have the mechanical strength or mechanical resistance and enhance the barrier property of the material comparing to the material that have only the PLA. So mixing with the pineapple fiber, it might be help in this property and kind of reduce the cost of the biodegradable production. Coating the biopolymer with the crude extract from the lactic acid bacteria, Pediococcus pentosacus containing lysine, and other antimicrobial compounds significantly control number of the foodborne pathogen, as I show with the OD, with the CFU, and also with the scan electron microscope. The material, when you put the material containing this kind of the crude extract containing lysine, it kind of eliminate the number of the microbe on the surface and also inhibit the growth of the microbe in the supernatant. So it helps to make the diffusion of the lysine to kill or to inhibit the growth of the microbes in the surrounded environment. So it can enhance the food safety, food quality, and prolong the shelf life. As I mentioned, you might think about using this material as durable material in the future at food packaging, especially to use with the ready-to-eat food, with the food that already have the pasteurization before they convey to the consumer, or it might be used with the fresh cut products. So it can be the alternative package that you can use in the refrigerator when you store your kind of the fresh product or fresh fruit. Okay. For the future study, it will require to purify the active compound. So as I test in this study, we take the whole supernatant from the lactic acid bacteria that we isolate from the fermented chicken, right? So in the future, we might think about we might think about to purify the lysine from these isolate microbes and coat it into the material. And we also need to test on whether when we coat with the compound that we isolate out, it will have the effect on in terms of the sensory property to the consumer, right? We need to do whether when they contact with the food product, it will change the sensory of the food products or not. And one more important thing is that we still need to test whether how long does it need for our material to be able to be biodegraded in the nature. Okay, so if you need for more information, I have already published this work in the journal and also in the Packaging Insight News. This is from the Netherlands. They asked to write about the news of this package. Okay, I have to thank, last but not least, I have to thank our School of Food Industry, KMITL. And also this work has preliminary work at the Assumption University Department of Agroindustry, and also we have a good collaboration with the Natural Metal Materials Technology Center in Thailand. Okay, any questions so far?
So any questions for audience? So Dr. Taspon still stay with us in the lunch in the afternoon section too. So because we are a little bit late now, so we will move to the third of the speaker. Let me introduce you to know about our third speaker. The third speaker is Dr. Ali Muhammad Mola Ali. He is the lecturer at Department of Food Science and Technologies, School of Food Industry, KMITL. He received his PhD in Food Science and Technology from Prince Songkhla University, Thailand. His research interesting focus on food chemistry of protein and lipids, bioactive compound from seafood and proteins, processing byproduct, edible film and coating, active packaging, plant-based metabolite, bioactivity, and applications, enzyme and microbe in food processing and valuable additions, molecular encapsulation of food ingredients, and development of value-added food products and their process. Nowadays, he published more than 40 journals, publications, and with citation more than 400 times. So please join me to welcome him. Hello, Dr. Ali. Hi. Could you open your microphone, please? Your microphone is still closing.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Yes.
So welcome. So
Yes.
everyone give the big hand to him. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ajahn Orachan, for the introduction. And today I'll be presenting one of my work related to ultrasound as a sustainable approach for value addition of fish processing waste. So generally, fish processing waste is significantly higher, becoming significantly higher during the fine processing of fish in most of the industries. As we can see, this processing waste has most of the nutritional compounds which can be utilized for the benefit of society as well as the income generation for the industries. As we can see in the slide, the fish catch, fish processing, and then from the processing we generate fish processing waste, and from those we can recover many health promoting compounds. So here I will just present one of my work. Okay, so this is mainly related to the extraction of collagen, extraction of gelatin and other lipid-based compound, which I'll be showing how I have utilized in food packaging. So I have used ultrasound based on the conventional extraction.
For our students, this is for outsiders too.
Hello. Hello. Can you people hear me? Yeah. Okay. So this technology, ultrasound technology, is considered as green technology, as it has several advantages in minimizing the process conditions and maximizing the quality of product whatever we extract and ensuring the safety of production. So this ultrasound technology is mainly applied for improving or enhancing the mass transfer in the process development. Okay. So next, ultrasonication has been used in many processes in food science. Basically, today I'll be using it for ultrasound assisted extraction and emulsion preparation. So in liquid system, in food science, we generally we apply ultrasound technology in liquid system, and where the ultrasound technology is propagated in terms of longitudinal waves, and these longitudinal waves create compression and rarefaction in the liquid medium. So this, in turn, this compression and rarefaction regions in the liquid medium, they create vacuum, they create cavity in the liquid medium, and this cavity in turn creates the small bubbles, air bubbles, which grow with the time span, and then they become larger size. So once they grow to the sufficient size, they collapse. They collapse with the intensive force. So this intensive force creates the shock waves in the liquid medium. This creates this collapsing of ultrasound bubbles created by gravitational bubbles can show various effects such as physical effect. Physical effect can in turn generate shock waves, microjet effect, turbulence, shear force, and chemical effect. Chemical effect is the hydrolysis of several molecules. So these two effects, physical and chemical effect together, perform various function in during the extraction of various molecules. So firstly, I will show the extraction of acid and pepsin soluble collagen. Okay? So as we can see, there are conventional method, and I have used the ultrasound assisted extraction method. And here you can see there is a collagen molecule which is which has like higher cross-link. This is the from the fish skin, where we can see the fish skin has larger amount of cross-links. So this cross-links can be solubilized or loosened with the help of acid. We extract the collagen in a conventional way. So this generally has a lower yield, and to improve the yield, industries they still use the pepsin, the aid of pepsin, but still this both together result in enormous amount of insoluble residue, which is not utilized further. So I am trying to utilize this the maximum extent. So similarly, we have gelatin. Okay, gelatin is the heat denatured collagen. So this has various application in food industry, and even the conventional method, whatever we extract using the acid treatment, this has the lower yield. Now this ultrasound technology can be used to improve the extraction yield. So basically, I will show only the extraction yield of gelatin. Gelatin here, I have used the various treatments where we have used two types of acid, acetic acid and sulfuric acid plus acetic acid combination, where we can see one treatment we have not used any acid treatment. So we have used only the ultrasound treatment. And we have used the extraction conditions at two time interval, 3 hours and 6 hours. So 6 hours is the ideal condition, and we are trying to check whether with the help of ultrasound, 3 hours will be feasible when compared to the conventional method. So here we can see this is the extraction yield, okay, and this is the control with the 1% yield of fish skin. So this is the very least yield, very negligible extracted yield. And you can see with the help of ultrasound, without any acid treatment, the extraction yield has been increased to certain level up to the 10%. And with the aid of different acids, such as acetic acid and sulfuric acid, we can see the extraction yield with the combination of ultrasound has reached to 62%. This is very significantly higher. So this, in turn, we have checked the properties of the extracted gelatin with conventional acid treatment and with that of ultrasound. Okay, so here U indicates the ultrasound extracted gelatin. So we found the ultrasound extracted gelatin has higher gelling temperature and melting temperature. So this is good suitable for preparation of various food products, gelling products, as well as the packaging material, mainly the edible packaging. And we saw that the gelling property of sulfuric acid, where the extraction yield was higher, but we saw the gelling property was a little bit lower when compared to the acetic acid. So we found acetic acid has good potential for gelling and melting properties, which can be a good indicator for application in food industry. So this is the protein pattern of extracted gelatin, and we can see here without acid treatment, we saw there is no band pattern of gelatin. So the signature gelatin band pattern of gelatin has high molecular chains, gamma chain with higher molecular weight, beta chain, and two alpha chains, alpha 1 and alpha 2. So this is the signature pattern of gelatin. As we can see, this signature pattern with the acetic acid extracted sample, they were very perfect. Okay, they were very perfect. And we can see in ultrasound assisted extraction, we can see there are the lower molecular weight peptides, which can be due to the effect of strong acid, okay, sulfuric acid, and combination of ultrasound. So at 3 hours and 6 hours, we found both the similar effect due to this sulfuric acid. So we found acetic acid is the ideal for extraction. Next, we saw the amino acid profile of these extracted gelatin molecules, and we found acetic acid had like higher content of amino acids. Amino acids are together put with proline and hydroxyproline together with both of the amino acids. This is the unique amino acids present only in collagen and gelatin. And we saw the proportion of glycine, which is above 300. So this proportion should be, for 1,000, this proportion should be above 300. So we saw all the samples were goodly, were extracted appropriately, and the amino acid content was higher. So this amino acid content in turn will help in formation of cross-linkage when we prepare any food products such as jellies. And we saw a color pattern of these gels when we have casted the gel in and we saw the color pattern of these gels, and we could see that the transparency, the lightness of this extracted, the acetic acid extracted was very light. The gels were very clear, and we can see the sulfuric acid extracted gels were mildly lightness, and they were semi-transparent. Okay, and then we found that it could be due to the co-extraction or the breakdown of larger molecular protein gelatin to the smaller fractions. So this could be the reason why the lightness has reduced in sulfuric acid treated samples. And next, coming to the gel strength, after casting the gel, we saw the gel strength was higher to acetic acid, which was significantly higher compared to all the samples, where the second followed gel strength was seen to the sulfuric acid at extracted at 6 hours. So we concluded that the extraction time, even though we combined with the acid and ultrasound, we found 6 hours is the ideal time for extraction. And here we can see the gel network in electron microscope, and we found that the without acid pretreatment, we found the gel networks were coarse. There were larger pores in the gel, and the gel strength was like least. It was the 50% compared to the highest gel strength. So next, coming to the sulfuric acid treated, we saw with and without ultrasound. So without ultrasound, still the pores were larger, and with ultrasound, we can see there was like almost like solid mass with less pores. We could not see much of larger pores in this gel. And similarly, when we see the acetic acid treated without ultrasound, showed very smaller pores with number of pores increase, indicating that there were higher crosslinks happening between the polymers. And we saw ultrasound treated gels which showed like very fine, very unique pattern of cross-linking. And then these gels had shown the good water holding capacity, good chewing capacity, etc. So based on these observations, we could see that the ultrasound could still more than extraction, increasing extraction yield. It can also improve the quality of gelatin extracted. It can also improve the quality of gels which are formed with the smaller pores and which will have the good textural properties when we apply in the food science. Okay. So next, coming to the other part of my experiment, where I have used ultrasound to extract lipid fraction from fish, especially from fish liver. So this is the lipid fraction called as squalene. This is one of the interesting compound with 6 double bond. And this compound is mainly present in fish liver. Okay, fish liver, this has been firstly identified by a Japanese scientist, and he found that he found this compound in shark liver. So when he tried to hold the liver in his hand, he observed that the liver was melting in his hand, and he found that this what is this? And he found that the 80% of shark liver contains of this squalene. Okay, so this squalene can form two structures based on the polarity of solvent, and this compound squalene has various health benefits in terms of antioxidant, anti-aging, cardioprotective effect, hypertensive, hypoglycemic. Okay, so this is highly interesting in terms of health promoting properties. So in industries generally, we see this extraction of squalene is being carried out by a huge initial investment, or it can be due to the process which can be very expensive for extraction of squalene. As we see in squalene has been extracted from fish source, from plant source, such as olive oil, amaranthus. They still have significant amount of squalene. And for the commercial purpose, most of this squalene is extracted from microbes, bacteria. They synthesize they produce in the larger scale. So still after production, they still have to process through complex extraction process. And I try to improve this extraction process to be simpler because the just simple chemical reaction can extract squalene to significant amount. So general conventional method of extraction is used in the industries is various process. And in laboratory, we have tested with the extraction of oil, first extraction of oil, and then followed by saponification. So after saponification reaction, the unsaponifiable fraction will have the squalene, because squalene cannot go undergo the saponification reaction. So the conventional method we have tried like this, and the ultrasound assisted method we have tried direct in situ saponification, and then we have subjected this fraction for purification. So let us see how this happens. So we have taken the sample, fish waste, majorly fish liver, and first extraction is carried out with the huge amount of solvent, 1:10 at least the ratio is, and after that various process of separation, filtration, etc., and evaporation, and finally we get the crude oil, and then huge amount of toxic solvents such as chloroform methanol are discarded in the environment. Okay, and here we can see next step is the saponification. Even here we use the larger amount of solvents to perform the reaction, and we also perform the reaction at the higher temperature, which also consumes larger amount of energy. And then we extract a very small fraction of unsaponifiable matter, and then the rest of the residue is still discarded. Okay? And now I try to implement this reaction directly in the sample without extracting the oil with the help of ultrasound. So what I have done is I have taken the liver tissue and mixed the reaction components directly in the sample, okay, and then subjected to the ultrasonication. So ultrasonication, we found that the temperature 70 degrees could be reduced to 40 degrees, and the extraction could be reached to the maximum, because we also add the potassium hydroxide. So in addition to the reaction, the potassium hydroxide also facilitated the breakdown of cells for maximum yield when compared to that of conventional method. So after the reaction, the upper phase, the polar phase, was collected with the hexane, and this unseparated fraction was collected. So just one step with ultrasonication, we can avoid so many steps of extraction, etc. Okay. And here we can see after extraction, I have passed this with simple fractional crystallization with -20, storing it for 24 hours, so that most of the wax materials could get separated. And we found we can find this squalene is not crystallized, because squalene has 6 unsaturated double bonds. It stays liquid in nature even at -40 degrees centigrade. And further, with the help of column chromatography, just with one run of hexane, we can easily separate the squalene with highest purity. Here, this is the extraction yield in conventional method. As we can see, the extraction yield of oil is very less in the conventional method, and we can see in ultrasound assisted extraction, the extraction of oil significantly increased. The quantity of oil significantly increased, and the amount of squalene also increased with the least amount of utilization of solvents and time and process conditions such as filtration, centrifugation, etc. So after fractionation, we found the different proportion of squalene in different fish we have extracted, which are commercially available in some regions. And here we can see, after fractionation, we can see the purity of squalene was almost 60% with just 2 steps of process, extraction and fractionation in -20. And finally, with the column separation, we found the purity of squalene was approximately to 94%. And this is the recovery of squalene. We can see the recovery could go up to 98%. So we concluded that the ultrasound assisted extraction method was highly suitable for extraction directly from the sample without extracting the oil. And here we can see this is the HPLC chromatogram of squalene of oil, fish oil, directly fish oil, and this is the after saponification, and this is after fractional crystallization, and this is after final purification. And we found squalene can be highly purified with this method, whatever we have developed. And to determine the quality of squalene we extracted, here we found, we tested the FTIR peaks and the band related to squalene of various frequencies for its structural conformation. We confirmed that there are all the bands present in the FTIR pattern, and we could also see the band for the 6 double bond in the squalene structure. We could see it is significantly present. And next, we can see there is a thermal shift. Thermal shift is nothing but the oxidation due to higher temperature of extraction. As we can see, this is the conventional extraction method. We can see there is a thermal shift. There is a change in structure of squalene, a higher change in structure of squalene when we extract with the help of temperature. When we extract with the help of ultrasound at lower temperature, there was less thermal shift of squalene structure. So the structure would remain intact. And the absence of the peaks at this region specified that there were no primary oxidation products of this squalene. Okay, so this is the extraction part we have finished, and we concluded that the ultrasound assisted extraction with least solvent method has good purified squalene. And next, we have used this squalene and extracted gelatin in preparation of edible film, gelatin film. So this edible gelatin film has the poor barrier properties for moisture as well as for oxygen. So to improve this, to improve the water moisture barrier properties and oxygen barrier properties, we have tried to use to prepare the emulsified films incorporated with squalene. So we can see what properties have been improved. So here, generally, when we prepare the gelatin film, we need to add glycerol at 30% of protein to liquefy, to make the film flexible more than rigidity. So in packaging, flexible films are highly preferred. So we add glycerol up to 30% with that of protein weight. So this 30% of glycerol will significantly will increase the moisture property. So this is undesirable in the packaging industry. To replace this, what we have done is we have shifted or replaced, we have substituted the glycerol with that of squalene. We tried to study the properties of the film. So this is the preparation process of film, we have used glycerol, and we have also used this squalene. We have replaced the squalene, glycerol with that of squalene. And for preparation of squalene emulsion, we have used again ultrasound. So this is one of the technology which is used to create the emulsion at nanoscale, at nanoscale rather than microscale. And later on we have dried and casted the film. So this is the confocal images of film emulsions prepared by replacing the glycerol with that of squalene with this various ratio, where the highest ratio of glycerol and you can see the highest ratio of squalene. So we could see there is no droplet distribution of squalene in glycerol, and as the increase in concentration of glycerol, we could see the higher droplets with nanoscale have been evenly distributed in the solution. So this indicated that ultrasound had good emulsifying property with that of using squalene. And we found, after casting the film, we found the thickness, the conventional without squalene, we found glycerol film were more thinner than that of emulsified films. So the highest concentration of squalene yielded the higher thickness of the film. And we could see that the moisture content of the film significantly reduced with that of replacing the glycerol. So one of the hypothesis was correct. And we can see the lightness. Again, this was like contrasting to whatever we could desire. So generally for film packaging industry, we need the films with higher lightness value, but with addition of squalene, we could find little bit decrease in lightness value, but not to the significant level. And next we can see the transparency. Transparency was higher for the glycerol added films and was lower. Transparency was the value was better in glycerol added films and poor in that of squalene added films. So these are the basic parameters tested, and we can see this addition of replacement of squalene could increase the tensile strength of film. Okay, and we saw the replacement of glycerol with that of squalene at 5:5 ratio yielded the highest tensile strength. So here there was the highest tensile strength of the film, but we saw that Young modulus increased as replaced with the squalene, and even elongation at break we can see it reduced with that of addition of emulsion. And we can significantly see there was a huge reduction in water vapor permeability. So this indicated that the water vapor permeability or moisture permeability across the film can be significantly reduced after adding squalene. And the most important property, what we were expecting was oxygen permeability. So this oxygen permeability significantly reduced by replacing the glycerol with that of squalene, and the highest reduction was observed in the highest amount of squalene added. And we could also see there were a good thermal behavior of gelatin film, which indicated the different storage conditions. And we can see the Tmax. Tmax or T onset is approximately near to the glycerol film. So this has not affected significantly. So next, this is the scanning electron microscopy of the films. So this is the glycerol film, and we could see there were no emulsion or droplets distributed across the film. And the thickness of the film was a little bit higher in the emulsion films. And we can see there is a uniform or homogeneous distribution of squalene droplets in the film with that of ratio 5:5 of squalene and glycerol. But at the higher proportion without glycerol, we can see there is no proper droplet distribution and no proper good surface of the film. So this could conclude that glycerol at some proportion is very much necessary to prepare the film with the flexibility and with homogeneous distribution of squalene. And we can see we have, based on this, we have selected the film of this maximum tensile strength to test the storage studies. And we found we have used the fried fish crackers, as we found that squalene incorporated film has lower oxygen permeability. And we have selected the fish crackers to test the oxidation stability of the storage sample. So here we have taken this packaging with just glycerol incorporated films, and squalene at the ratio of 5:5 incorporated films, and the commercial nylon and or LDPE bags. So this indicated that the experiments showed that the thickness of the film, the control, glycerol, and the commercial packaging where this and the control was least thickness. And we can see the water vapor permeability was very higher for the control films compared to the glycerol and nylon. So we can see this, the squalene incorporated film had lower water vapor permeability and close to that of commercial packaging. So this was a good indicator for using as a packaging material. And we can see this oxygen permeability. So control has this much of oxygen permeability, and squalene has lower oxygen permeability compared to all. And this is the commercial and LDPE packaging. So this further the sealing ability at the joint of the packaging. We can see this squalene, the joints has like good sealing ability of this packaging compared to that of the conventional gelatin packaging. And we can see the seal strength was higher compared to the conventional gelatin packaging when compared to that of the squalene incorporated packaging. And the highest was observed for the commercial nylon packaging. So the highest sealing efficiency was for the commercial packaging. And we can see the storage studies. During the storage studies, we have determined the various parameters of crackers. Here we can see the water vapor permeability of without packing crackers with control with that of glycerol. This is glycerol with squalene, and this is commercial squalene. So the moisture content of crackers were very least in that of commercial packaging, and next was the squalene incorporated packaging. Similar results were observed for the water activity. This indicated that the water vapor permeability was lower, and the fish crackers could remain intact for several days. And these are the color indicated, and this you can see this is the day 0 of storage studies, where you can see this cracker stored outside, packed in the gelatin bag incorporated with glycerol, the bags incorporated with squalene, and the commercial packaging. And after day 30, we can see there is a huge amount of color change in the stored without packaging and with glycerol packaging. And we can see there was a comparable difference, comparable changes in that of squalene incorporated and commercial bags, and similar color indication were found. So here, based on the color indication, the darker the color, we found the higher oxidative property. So the fish crackers stored in outside without packaging or stored in gelatin bag, they were comparatively, they were similar in the oxidation peroxide value and also the T-bars value. So primary and secondary oxidation compounds were significantly higher in both. And we can see the second most with the huge difference with that of control was squalene incorporated bag samples, and next is the nylon commercial bags. So these results were interesting to indicate that the storage stability was good, and these squalene incorporated bags can be good for the oxidative stability. And here we can see the textural property, crispiness, and we can see there is a decrease in crispiness for control samples, and similarly the crispiness reduced to the squalene incorporated bags to approximately 50% of that of the changes with compared to that of nylon bags. And similar observation was found in toughness. So the toughness started reducing in the first 5 days itself in the control samples, and we can see still lower toughness observed in the crackers stored in the squalene and nylon bags for several days. And this is the fatty acid profile. And we can see the majorly indication. We can see the oxidation in this fatty acid profile. We could see that there are no unsaturated fatty acids omega-3 and omega-6 in control without packaging, and with packaging incorporating glycerol. So we can see there is a higher level of fatty acids. And second, we can see here these bags incorporated with squalene still retained higher proportion of unsaturated fatty acids when compared to that of commercial packaging. Even in commercial packaging, there was a slow or milder oxidation observed, but total fatty acids preserved were higher in that of LDPE or commercial packaging. So this is the fatty acid profile, and we found that this is the interesting to know the oxidation level of oxidation level of fatty acids. And we found, when we also determined the volatile compounds, the primary oxidation compounds, and we found in lower oxidation compounds present in the nylon as well as in the squalene incorporated bags. So even for this, and this is the second group of compounds, as we can see, there are several compounds are present at not detectable level, and in control and the gelatin stored bags, they are still present at significant level. So this was the overall presentation indicating the effectiveness of squalene incorporated and ultrasound assisted extracted compounds.
Okay,
used
thank
in
you.
Food industry.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentations to share us knowledge about for food packaging from feed processing waste. So if someone have any questions for Dr. Ali, so you can leave on the chat box or in the comments in the Facebook Live, and he's still with us on the afternoon section, right? And we can catch up on the questions and answer in the afternoon sections, because we are quite late now. So we have the 1 hour break for after of the morning section. So now is 11:45. We will going back to see it together. In Thailand, it's 12:45, and in China is the maybe 13th, right? 45, as we can see each other. And for the internet interruptions in China, so in the afternoon sections, we will move to the another of the meeting, that is the Zoom meeting. Let me share screen a little bit. Okay. So In the afternoon sections, we will move from Zoom meeting to be the Woof meeting. We have the meeting ID and download link. I also give the informations about the afternoon section meeting in the chat box already. If you're not convenient to join this one, you can join with Facebook Live. And moreover, we also send the email to all of you who registrations for the news of the meeting link from Woo meeting. So in afternoons, again, afternoon section, we will meet in Woo meeting. ID as shown in front of your screen right now. And we also sending the email to you. So don't forget that we gonna stay whole of the Joyce conference to get the e-certificate together. So this is a time for lunch break now, and I hope you enjoy for the morning sections, and we still have the more interesting topic in afternoon section. Hope everyone is stay with us today. So we would like to take a break for 1 hour. So everyone is enjoy your lunch and going back to see each other in afternoon sections. Please feel free. Thank you.
玉环，你这个电脑上有没有？那我就直接登录。